Welcome viewers once again to another exciting TV box top review. Ugoos has released another Amlogic S905X4 model running on Android 11 operating system featuring AV1 decoding, presenting the Ugoos X4 Pro, and this model runs on 4GB of RAM and 32GB of internal storage. Ugoos needs no introduction as their boxes have been at the top of the charts when it comes to delivering performance and firmware features, so we all know what to expect from the Ugoos brand. So in this review, as usual, we take a look at its hardware and features to see what they have improved upon and to measure its performance based on its Android 11 optimization, and I have some live demonstrations to test its streaming and video playback capabilities, so stay tuned, that's up next. Welcome back. In the box contains the X4 Pro TV box itself. You get one infrared remote control, one 12 inches HDMI cable, one IR extender cable, a 5V 2.5 amps DC power adapter, one external antenna, one adhesive for the IR extender cable, and a professionally printed user manual. The X4 Pro is more of a TV dongle than a TV box, hence the reason it comes with a 12-inch HDMI cable and an IR extender cable, because it's designed to mount to the back of your TV. It has a glossy surface with the X4 Pro branding printed to the top. It has one Ethernet LAN port, one optical audio port, a reset button, one external antenna, and a coolant vent to the rear. To one side it has a USB Type-C power input, one AV port, a port for the IR extender, and an LED power light. On the opposite side it has one HDMI port. To the front it has one USB 3.0 port, one USB 2.0, a micro SD card reader, and another coolant vent. And below it has 4 anti-skid rubber feet. So I'll set this up on my 4K TV and capture card and continue. So after the startup, you are presented with the standard feature-rich Ugoos launcher. With this launcher, there is no need for alternative launchers as it has all of the features found in popular ones such as the ADW Launcher 2 and the EV Launcher. This launcher features long press menu pop-ups and drag and drop shortcuts. If you have lots of shortcuts, you can add them to multiple horizontal scrolling panels. You have the ability to change its wallpaper by long pressing anywhere on a blank section of the screen, and it's the same process for adding widgets. You have a navigation bar and full notifications bar with system controls. Before I proceed with its firmware features, once you connect to the internet, you will be prompted with the latest Ugoos firmware update. In this latest update, I was informed that issues found in the AM7 model relating to audio via the optical audio and surround sound formats has been addressed, and they have also made changes to the firmware's stability. So I will complete this update and return. So the update completed successfully. And if you didn't know, firmwares developed by Ugoos are known to have the most features in the industry, and it's no different in this model. Firstly, it's built on the latest Android 11 SDK, and here's the firmware build information. With this, you get 4K display up to 2160p at 60Hz. And this is true 10-bit 60Hz display as it's displayed here on my capture card. Under color is where you will find the HDR display settings, where you can set it to adaptive display or you can have it always on. Under orientation is where you will find its built-in screen rotation settings. you have advanced auto frame rate settings. And this same section is where you will find its surround sound audio settings. Under the super user section is where you will find the root switch by enabling the Magisk application. Under devices and input is where you will find your HDMI CEC options, options to change the default keyboard. You have a built-in gamepad keymapping feature. You have options to control the menu button on the infrared remote. And you also have a mouse pointer options. Under panels and interface is where you'll find settings for the navigation bar and the notifications bar, options to change the layout of the recent apps window along with its background. You have advanced the hardware monitor settings. This is also where you can enable the draggable hardware monitor floating window. If you have multiple alternative launchers, you can change them easily under the home screen settings. If you have a wireless voice remote, you can choose which voice search engine you would like to use. And you have some UI animation settings. Under power is where you'll find some energy saving options and your power key definition options. It has Google Assistant feature. It has 54 various languages to choose from. And you have additional settings that grants access to the original core Android settings area. So as I said, there are no other boxes in the industry that has all these features that Ugoos provides. In the app section, these are what come pre-installed. I see that they have installed the official version of Miracast, the new eMMc player, an app called Lean Key Keyboard Pro, along with your standard Android TV box applications. So I went ahead and installed all the apps I need to complete my review, and before I proceed, I will first check for root access on how to apply the root switch. So here the app shows that it's not rooted, and this might be suited to persons who would like to use apps that require their box not to be rooted. However, in most instances, if that's the case, they would also require the box to be Google certified, and in this case it's not. So it's better that when using the mobile version of Android on a TV box that you have root access. So if I head over to the super user sections in the settings area, to gain root access, all you need to do is enable the Magisk switch. It's not an instant switch and it requires that you reboot the box. So I rebooted the box, and one thing you have to do before you actually gain root access is that you have to update the Magisk application. In the settings area, click on the Magisk icon and proceed with the update. Once this is done, you don't have to open the Magisk application. Simply exit and return to the root checker app and grant access, and it will show that the box is now rooted. So now that we have root access, let's take a look at its system and hardware information. Under system, they blocked all the mainboard information, and all it shows is that the model is the X4. It runs on 4GB of LPDDR4 RAM and 32GB of internal storage. What you see here is the remainder after the Android installation and apps installed. The Bluetooth version is 4.0 with LE technology. Its CPU, which is the Amlogic S905X4, is a quad-core Cortex A55 CPU clocked at 2.0 GHz, configured in 32-bit mode with 32-bit ABI support only. What this means is that it can only run 32-bit apps and games. Its GPU is the Mali G31 with OpenGL ES version 3.2 support. Under network, it shows that it has 2.4 plus 5 GHz Wi-Fi support. Under Android, it shows that the operating system is Android 11, and it also shows that the box is rooted. Under devices, it shows that it has Vulkan version 1.1 support. Under temperature, it shows that the box idles around 51 degrees Celsius and it coincides with the built-in hardware monitor feature. Under codecs, I can identify all of the decoders for the playback of 4K HDR videos, and I can also identify surround sound audio decoders such as DTS HD, the AV1 decoder, and the Dolby Vision. So that's its system and hardware information. As mentioned a while ago, these models are not Google certified, which means they don't have the required digital rights or Google certification to stream premium movie services in HD or 4K quality. You can install and use them, but they will be restricted to basic 480p resolution. Here is its DRM information, and it shows that it only has Google Widevine Level 3 with no HDCP protection. This version of Netflix is a modified version that only works on boxes that has Google Widevine Level 1 with HDCP 2.2 protection. When installed on this box, it will only show in basic 480p quality. You won't find this version in any APK store. You would have to email me at tvboxstop@gmail.com to get it. I also installed the mobile version of YouTube, and it plays videos in 4K 2160p resolution, and it also triggers the HDR feature on my TV. For those who love to cast their mobile devices to the big screen, this box comes pre-installed with the official version of Miracast that can cast your mobile devices in HD quality. However, there is a bug in the system that causes the Wi-Fi to drop off every time you try to use it. So, as an alternative, they pre-installed the AirScreen app that can cast your mobile devices without issues. However, it's not in HD. For those who would like to use this box to portray digital signs using vertical countertop screens as well as very large ones like we see at malls and retail stores, this box comes with a built-in screen rotation feature that can rotate its display to vertical portrait mode to fit those rectangular vertical displays. For those who enjoy using alternative launchers, instead of having the home button pop up alternative launchers every time you press it, Ugoos has provided a menu in the settings area for you to select which alternative launcher you would like to use, especially if you have multiple ones installed. Once you set the alternative launcher, return to the home screen and press the home button and it will activate the launcher. So here I installed the ADW Launcher 2 and it works with all features such as drag and drop shortcuts and long click menu pop-ups. And this is the new Nova launcher with Android 11 compatibility with new and improved features. I will now play my list of 4K HDR videos using the VLC player with hardware acceleration set to full and with audio pass-through enabled in the audio settings. And we are looking for smoothness of playback and HDR quality.
and only a win for Barca would be enough, because it would give them the same number of points as Atletico, but the head-to-head goal difference is what counts in the case of a tie on points. The mosaic of the Camp Nou.
So the videos played perfectly without issues, and even though you did not see it because I'm using a capture card, the HDR feature was activated on my LG TV during the playback. This box features AV1 decoding, which is a new video format that produces even higher quality at a reduced file size than HEVC. And for this test, I will not be using the VLC player as it does not have the decoders to play them. Instead, I will use the default movie player for the box as it has the right decoders. So the AV1 formatted videos played perfectly. Some of the videos have copyrighted music attached to them, so I had to use a cover song during the demonstration, but I assure you their original audios played perfectly. I will now test for surround sound audio pass-through via its HDMI port and its optical audio port. First, I have it connected in HDMI pass-through configuration.
This is Dolby Atmos, the world's first object-based cinematic audio. With powerful moving audio that transcends from channels. judges.
This is the left channel. Next, we have the center channel.
So the box can play all the surround sound audio formats including Dolby TrueHD when connected in HDMI pass-through configuration. I will now connect to the optical audio cable and perform the same test.
Juries, executioners, judges.
Using the optical audio cable, it could only play basic DTS audio formats. I could not get DTS-X, DTS HD Master Audio, Dolby Atmos and Dolby TrueHD. To test its GPU graphics rendering performance, here I've connected my Bluetooth gamepad and I will now play some Android games to test for smooth gameplay, graphics rendering quality, gamepad keymapping capability, and for overheating.
Fight harder. Get down! Sniper! We've taken the lead. Back out! I'm hurt!
So the games played smoothly. The graphics rendering, I would say, is of an average quality. I was able to use gamepad keymapping apps to play games that require touchscreen functions, and the temperature rose into the 70s during gaming. So if it's possible, I would recommend that you provide adequate cooling and ventilation via some fan of sorts. I will now do a quick run through of its benchmarks and let's see where it places on my rankings chart. First, the results of its RAM and internal storage read and write speed test. It shows that it has a RAM copy speed of 3216 MB per second. Its internal storage has a read speed of 82 MB per second and a write speed of 74. Next, its Wi-Fi and Ethernet LAN speed test. The results show that you have a maximum bandwidth on the 5 GHz band and on the LAN port. The 2.4 GHz band achieved only 42%. This is on my network of 150 megabits per second. It also confirms the LAN port is a gigabit LAN port. Next, in the Antutu benchmark, it scored 104,839. This is a decent score and should see to it that it places well on my rankings chart. In the Geekbench 4 CPU benchmark, it scored 884 single core and 2204 multi-core. So these are the results of the 3D Mark Gamers Bench GPU graphics benchmark, and it scored 5,784 in the Ice Storm Extreme test, 603 in the Slingshot test, and 380 in the Slingshot Extreme test with Vulkan support. So these GPU scores are slightly higher than what you would get from Amlogic S905X4 boxes. So that's the last of the benchmarks. Let's now see where it places on my rankings chart. So the scores are in, and the new Ugoos X4 Pro is at position 18 in reference to Antutu benchmark scores, which is right up there with the other S905X4 models. You can view this chart where you can compare various benchmark scores, and I also provide price comparison links right here. See the link in the description below this video. In summary, the Ugoos X4 Pro is the best Amlogic S905X4 model running on Android 11 along with its sister model, the AM7 for 2021. It's packed with the best firmware features in the industry. It has high performance, and the only issue I had with it is that it's not Google certified to play Netflix in HD or 4K, and it should have included a Bluetooth wireless remote as standard. So viewers, I've come to the end of this review. If you are considering purchasing this model, I highly recommend it as one of the best Amlogic S905X4 models running on Android 11 to date. And if you're looking to take advantage of the Black Friday shopping spree, I placed Amazon links in the description below where you can get it from SZBox, the most reliable dealer for Ugoos models, and they also offer the lowest prices. So thanks for watching. As usual, give this video the thumbs up if you like this box. If you enjoy the work that I do on the channel, be sure to click the subscribe button and the notifications bell before leaving to keep in the loop as to when I release new videos or decide to do a giveaway. Thanks again for watching, stay tuned, and I'll be seeing you in the next one.